Hey, I've got another video for you all, and this was a fun video. What I did was I asked Chat GPT what it thought of Tennessee's grades in each position group entering the 2025 football season. And the grades that you see on the screen are what it gave me. And I'm going to tell you what I think about those grades. Do I agree with it or do I not agree with it? So let's get right to the quarterback situation. It does not think much of the quarterback situation. It says we are a C minus, and I think that's fair for the most part. You know, we're losing the guy that was our starter last year. We're bringing in some unknowns. Two quarterbacks that have been in the system, one quarterback that played the spring, another guy that's got a whole year, and as far as Merklinger, he's got a whole year learning Heupel system, but he's not played any games. Then we got another guy coming in that's only been here 2 months, and Joey Aguilar, who's threw for 7,000 yards the past 2 seasons at Appy State, but he also threw 24 interceptions the past 2 years too. Now, I don't think they're giving Joey Aguilar his flowers like they should. I don't think he's going to have an interception problem at Tennessee. If you look back at Heupel since 2021, he's not had a quarterback throw for more than 6 interceptions. And I don't see that happening again this year either. I think Aguilar is going to be fine. I think he's going to have a running game to lean on. He's not going to be way behind in games like he was at Appy State, and he's going to be trying to force throws as much. So I think I would give our quarterback grade a C. And on top of that, if Aguilar goes down, which I think most people think Aguilar is going to probably win the job, you've got a guy in Merklinger who's got a whole year in the system. He's a pretty decent backup to have back there. He knows the offense well. So I would give it a C instead of a C minus. Now the running back room, I really like the running back room. This is a group that we don't have Dylan Sampson. I don't want to make light of that. He was so important to us last year. He had, I think, over 1,500 all-purpose yards. 1,400 of it was just running. But we're bringing back 2 guys in Deshaun Bishop and Peyton Lewis, who combined for rushing about 1,000 yards last year. And then we're bringing in a guy, Star Thomas from Duke, who had over 1,000 all-purpose yards himself. So, and these running backs, all 3 of them are different, and they're not the same. You got Lewis, who is more of a bigger back, who can get you the short yardage situations. And you got Star Thomas, who is a shifty guy. He's more like Alvin Kamara, or he's like Dylan Sampson. So I love how they're a little bit different, and I think they're going to fit great in Heupel's system. I would give the running back group a B+. I think they're going to rush for close to 3,000 yards, just like we did last year. I don't think we lose a step as far as the offensive running game this year. I think it's a B+. Really looking forward to the running back room in 2025. I think they have a big year. Now, the wide receiver, tight end, the computer says C+. And I think that's fair because you got 3 guys at the receiver room that were here there last year that played very sparingly. Now, Brazel played a lot. He had over 300 yards receiving, but you're talking about Mike Matthews, who did not get over 100 yards receiving. Braylon Staley didn't get over 100 yards receiving. And then you got 4 other guys like Amari Jefferson and some others who are bringing in. They don't have any game experience at all. So no experience. You got in the tight end room, you got Miles Kitselman coming back. Now he had a great year last year, but what behind Miles Kitselman, what do we have? We have nothing proven. So a C+ I think is a very fair grade and very kind grade, honestly. Now this room has the talent to be above that. There's not, for example, Mike Matthews. There's very few receivers out there, in my opinion, that are as talented as he is. So he could have a big year. But right now, I think the C+ grade is fair. Now let's get to the offensive line. Now this is an offensive line that's losing 4 starters from last year's team. We're bringing back Lance Hurd. We're bringing in David Sanders as a true freshman who will probably start as a true freshman. And then we're bringing in some other key pieces, some guys that have played. But these guys have not played together, and that's not good. The offensive line, it's big that they play together, had snaps together, have continuity, and this team doesn't really have that. I do think they're going to get better as the year goes on, but I think at the first of the year it could be shaky from the offensive line, especially the center. We've had Cooper Mays there for 4 years. We're going to have a complete different, new starter at center. That could be shaky. So they say the offensive line is a B-. I think that's fair, B- for sure. Now let's get to the defensive side of the ball. Let's get to the D line. Now, this is a group that I think is underrated. Everybody thinks that, for the most part, that Tennessee's defensive line is going to be good, but it's not going to be as good as last year's. And I think this D-line could be just as good as last year's. You're talking about guys in Tyree West, Dominic Bailey, Jackson Moy, Josephs, and a bunch of other guys that played last year, and they were in that rotation, and they're back. And these guys are veterans. You got some guys that are very highly talented as well that haven't played. Jordan Ross, very sparing playing time, and he's immensely talented. I think he was the number one player in the Alabama a couple years ago. So a lot of talent there, and I think they're going to have another big year. I think they're going to be one of those units that's top 10 in rush defense again this year. So love this group. They give us a B+, which is not a bad grade. I would go A-. I think this group's even better than the B+. Linebackers, we're losing Keenan Peely, obviously, from last year, but he went down halfway through the year. So you had all those linebackers get experience. They're pretty deep. We've got some guys back there led by Arian Carter that are really, really good. I think they're going to have a good year, and I think the linebackers at a B+ is very accurate. I'm excited. Those guys are more veteran back there now. I think they're going to have a big year. So I think B+ is accurate. Secondary. Now, this is the best secondary that Tennessee has had in a long time. Tennessee's secondary has really stunk the last 10 years for the most part. I mean, there's a couple of years there we had a decent secondary, but our secondary's been awful, especially during the Heupel years. Just not a good secondary. Jamal McCoy comes on the scene last year. Ricky Gibson. We picked up that guy, that Hood guy out of Colorado who played in that secondary. So he is a huge addition, huge pickup. I think A- is accurate for this secondary. That's what the computers have come up with. I would give it an A if McCoy, I knew he was going to, play game one at 100%. He's obviously, I think, going to be ready for the start of the season. But in ACL injuries, you just don't know how long it's going to take for him to get back to 100%. I think, Jamal McCoy might be the best cornerback in college football. I think our secondary is going to be really, really good this year, and I think A- would be accurate. Special teams, I like our special teams. You got the punter and Ross, who had, I think, 22 of his 55 punts were inside the 20-yard line. Max Gilbert, he kicked over 75% of his field goals last year, which is decent. I'd like it to be over 80%, but 75 is still good. He kicked 3 balls that were 50-plus yards. So I think he'll only get better. He was only a freshman last year, and now the X factor here is Boo Carter. Boo Carter is going to be back there returning those punts, and I think he's got the potential to take every punt he touches back. He's that kind of talent. So the computer thinks the special teams is a B. I'd give it a B+ or A-. I think they're kind of underrating us on the special teams. But anyway, guys, that is my opinion. For the most part, I think ChatGPT was pretty much on it, but I think sometimes they sold us short in a couple areas there. But anyway, guys, I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all have a good day.